Hey there, I'm Tiffany Lord, founder of Love Asana, and I'm here to offer some suggestions for helping your posture while you're sitting at work. And we're just going to be working with one block. So you can pick whatever block that you have. If you don't have a block, you can always use a folded up blanket or a thick towel. Or a pillow for that matter. So come with me. We're going to sit in the chair if you're not already there, and you'll grab a block. I've got two options today. So this is a thinner block, thicker block, and we'll just kind of work with them both and see what works best for you. But again, if you don't have a block, you can grab, just a pillow or a blanket or towel and just fold it up so it has a little bit of height to it. So the most common thing I hear from clients is, what do? I sit cross-legged all day and I have hip pain, back pain, or just maybe some soreness at the end of the day, and I want to fix that. So a couple options for you. If you sit back in your chair, grab your block. We're going to put this block in between the knees. Okay, so again, it's going to depend on how much space you have off of your chair, right? So you may sit more forward during the day as you work, and that's great. And that'll give you more space where you might even be able to drop this in between the thighs. But we're going to take this block in between the knees, and whether it rests there or you're actively squeezing, which I don't recommend doing that for a prolonged period of time, but just resting the block in between the legs as you're sitting and typing at the computer will keep you from crossing your legs. And I would like to just state that crossing your legs is not inherently bad. What we want to keep in mind is that if we stay in one fixed posture for many hours every day over a period of years, then that's when we can start to feel those discrepancies and maybe lose some range of motion and feel some tension in areas we would prefer not to feel tension in. So simply by crossing the other leg throughout the day, or just using this block to help you really be aware of crossing the legs, can give you some relief for a few moments. You could do this for 10 minutes a day and just see how it feels. You could move up to 20 minutes, things like that. So this is just about giving you options to play around with. This may be where the thinner block may be more helpful for you, just depending on how you sit. So you can play around with that. Another helpful one is to put this block underneath the feet. So you can have it in between the feet to keep you at more of a hip width distance apart. Yep. Or you can just put your feet on block. Again, just noticing your feet on the block, helping you to not cross the legs. But I would also like to point out here that ideally we want the knees to be a little bit lower than the hips when we're sitting for a prolonged period of time. So for me, if I were going to do this with the block, I would have to raise my chair up quite a bit. But sitting like this for 10 minutes a day with your knees above your hips, not a huge deal for most people. So it could just be a nice reprieve just to have your feet up on the block. Yeah. All right. So another thing I'd like to show the block to be used for is you can sit it underneath the hips. So if you do need to be able to tilt the pelvis anteriorly or forward so that you can let the knees sit at this nice angle down below the hips, then you can use a block to help support you there. Obviously, you can raise a chair, but sometimes when we have, certain setups, especially at home, it's not always just like this perfect ergonomic situation. So we've got to bring in things that we have around the house to help, and a block can be a nice one. So again, depending on how much you need to lift the hips, you may want to bring in a thinner block, and that may be enough for some of you, right? And then just tilting the pelvis forward, feeling a nice natural curve here. So we don't want to have it tilted so far forward that we have a big arch. We're just kind of looking for neutrality to let these knees come below the hips. So just a few options for you to help reset your posture or switch up how you're sitting throughout the day using blocks. Again, if you don't have any blocks, you can just grab a blanket, a towel, and fold it up so it has a little bit of depth to it and support. All right, so try those on, see how they work. And remember, you can always reach out with any questions at loveandasana@gmail.com.